You are now listening to the Pelicans post-game report. Flash report.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican post-game report. I'm Big Q, representing the Flock and Nation. Stand up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Give us a like, hit that sub button. Also, in this episode of PPR, man, we're going to just go over a preview, man, on this episode of Pelican Post-Game Report. New Orleans Pelicans 2024-25 season preview, one move away from being a major threat. We're going to cover this article by Ben Rochbach, who is a senior writer at Yahoo Sports. This is his take on it. Very interesting article. If you guys want to check it out, please feel free to Google it, look it up, and check it out. All right, anyway, we started off with the broadcast and the finish. 23-24 finish. The Pelicans finished 49-33. A lot of people believe they could have won 10 more games and been 59-23, but instead one game shy of 50 and lost in the first round against the Thunder. Just a humiliating loss. The offensive rating 116.5. That's good for 11th. The defensive rating was 111.9, which is good for 6th. The offseason move additions: Dejounte Murray was brought in, Javonte Green, Daniel Tice at center, Yves Missi was a draft pick along with Antonio Reeves, a second rounder. Carlo Mekovic, which was a second round pick from last year, joins the club. Subtractions: Big V's gone. Larry Nance Jr. and Dyson Daniels were traded to get Dejounte Murray here. Najee Marshall, who headed to Dallas, Cody Zeller, and E.J. Liddell was a part of the package that also went to Atlanta to get Dejounte. So also, as you kind of run into this thing, you can see the Pelicans make the big question is, can the Pelicans make the roster make sense? Now, Williamson, Ingram, Dejounte Murray have all made all-star teams. McCollum is one of the best players of the past decade not to make an all-star team. Herb Jones and Trey Murphy III are two of the best 3 and D wing prospects. The Pelicans should be awesome. They will not be championship contenders as currently constituted. Why? Well, for starters, they do not have a true center. They let Jonas Valanciunas walk in a sign and trade deal for a top 50 protected second round draft pick. They drafted Yves Missi, a 20-year-old project, and signed Daniel Tice, a 32-year-old journeyman. These are not options for a serious team. Ideally, they will have traded Ingram over the summer for a center. He has been available for some time and is a free agent at season's end. Would-be suitors will be wary of paying top dollar for a player who has not won a playoff series in 8 seasons. Though I am higher on his ability than most, he was great in the first playoff appearance and terrible this past spring. His true value is somewhere in between. Also, regardless, New Orleans has more issues than the absence of a center and the presence of a lame duck star forward. Its rotations makes no sense. On paper, a lineup of Murray, Jones, Murphy, Ingram, and Williamson could be a killer small ball quintet. In practice, playing their best 5 together for any length of time puts an unwelcome onus on Williamson, whose injuries have slowed a potentially historic rise, which is what we talked about, the fragility of Zion, before we talk about putting him in a physical position at center. McCollum could be an electric 6-man. He has the game for an instant offense, but he has indicated to reporters, quote, "I'm not going to volunteer for the bench, but if that's what the coach wants to do, that's what he wants to do." And they are paying him to be a starter, except Murphy, who's still waiting on his rookie scale contract extension, is better and also wants to start. One of them is going to be unhappy. We already know who it is. There's a world where Murray and Williamson are amazing at pick and roll tandem, where Jones and Murphy space the floor for them, and where McCollum, a 33-year-old president of the NBA's Players Association, enjoys his role as a reserve. What a wonderful world that would be if only they had a center. Only there are a few options available. Clint Capella is not the answer. They have surely kicked the tires on Jared Allen. A trade with Cleveland makes sense. Nick Claxton would be a nice fit, but why would the Brooklyn Nets want to pay Ingram at the start of their rebuilding process? Look around the league. Now that Karl Anthony Towns is in New York, the list of available quality centers is slim. Tice, once a starter for the Celtics team that made the conference finals, could turn back the clock or Messi could develop faster than anticipated. More likely, if the Pelicans sense they could cause some damage in the playoffs for the first time in their history, they will shop a little harder, and they have the draft capital to do it. They own all of their first-round draft picks, plus the rights to a few more. Stand pat, we have our answer. The Pelicans do not even consider themselves serious contenders. Best case scenario, Williamson is a superstar and healthy. Nothing matters if not for that. Murray emerges from the shadow of Trey Young and resumes the production he enjoyed in San Antonio. Either Jones, or Murphy are both border on stardom, or at least become stars in their roles. Everything falls into place. McCollum moves to the bench. Ingram fetches a rim protector, and the Pelicans are not just fighting for the first playoff series victory since 2018. They threaten to make the conference final for the first time ever. Best case scenario. What do y'all think about that? Now, if everything falls apart, Williamson has never finished the season healthy, and this one's no different. They keep Ingram, he walks, or they trade him for nothing. McCollum slows Murphy's development, and team chemistry frays. Jones is the 34% shooter he was for the first 2 seasons of his career, and not the 42% shooter he was last season. Messi's a miss. Tice is too, and the Pelicans are right back in the play-in tournament mix, a tier or 2 below the Western Conference elite, and they have learned nothing from another season. That's if things fall apart. And then, of course, he hits you with this fantasy spin and talk about the season opener, and then it predicts the over and under on win total, which is 46.5. The under is safer bet considering what the rotation looks like, so that you regress in games. We won 49 games last year. They're picking you to win 3.5 games left, or 3 games. That's just around. They said 3 games less than what we won last year, which in my opinion would not be a success. The Pelicans is currently constructed, should be a team that's a 50-win team if you know what you're doing. And like, even if you put onus on the center position, I think that was the initial thought process. The Pelicans wanted to go out and use Ingram as a chip to go and get a serious center to put in the lineup. But ultimately, it's a season in progress where we'll be monitoring it every step of the way. When we hit December, when the Pelicans hit December, prior to that, you have the in-season tournament. But when the Pelicans hit December, that's on that clock situation where you'll see between December and early February what will happen with the Pelicans in terms of them trading Brandon Ingram. That will have to be. They will have to get something for BI at that time. So, it's just a situation watching the season as the team develop, man. But all this stuff is going on, man, and we'll just have to see. A lot of people are saying the Pelicans are one good center away from being a Western Conference team, with Zion coming into season with really good health. Dejounte Murray was a good move. We just didn't complete the offseason by moving BI out. I know Trey Murphy is eventually going to get the money from the Pelicans, because the Pelicans definitely see him as a future of the team. And BI, they're not going to pay him. So all it is a trade to move him eventually. So anyway, what do you guys think about this article? Do you agree with the writer Ben Rohrbach? Do y'all guys agree with this guy? Put it in the comments section. Let me know how y'all feel about this, man. How many wins? Also, give me your thoughts on the article, and also tell me how many wins you think the Pelicans will get this season. Let me know in the comments section below on this. And also, please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening via X, hit the X button and share. Help us out on that. And I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Much love. Go Pel.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things New Orleans Pelicans.